Hey, what's going on? My name is Christian.
Hey Christian, welcome. My name is Aaron. Hey,
Thanks.
thank you guys for jumping in. If you're watching after, see, that's what I needed to turn mine on silent too. If you guys are watching after this on the replay, just make sure to leave a comment. Thanks for jumping in. We wanted to talk about your business and really what's going on right now as far as transitioning back to work and how it's impacted you and what's going on next. So go ahead and roll the intro, Jack. That's a really quick intro. Um, so for those who don't know, we usually do like a tip for tip each week, and hopefully we'll get back to that. But then this is more of a more like a free. Oh, I can hear like a little bit of replay. Like a freelance kind of topic, or like a I don't know. We just want to hear what's going on with your business, and if nothing else, is give us Christian and I a chance to talk about what we're going to do. But I think that every business is kind of on the same page as far as transitioning back to work, and at least here at the R. Yeager building, I think a lot of them are transitioning back. There's some people who have not left, but it's a Friday, and there's the parking lot's like a third of the way full, which is typically not as full as what it would be anyway. So I feel like people are, I don't know, at least this week anyway, are starting to get back to work. And I don't know, Christian, you've been up to the office a few times too, but I don't know if you've really seen it as full as I'm looking out at the window now, like as full as it is now.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been today, but yeah, I would say like it's gotten fuller, I guess, the parking lot. Um, so yeah,
What I don't know. Are you so to give context? Both of us are both. I mean, partially working from home. Everybody else is working from home, and we've been trying to figure out, especially this week, what's going to be our transition period from completely working from home to going back to work. And I don't know if you can see. There's a couple people are live right now, so if you are live, go ahead and leave a comment. I just now got over there, so I could see something. So if there's any comments or anything like that, just go ahead and drop those below. Or if you guys are watching, let us know. And you could also, I think we can jump in live too, but or you can jump in live with us and jump on here. But sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. Here we go. Okay. Sorry. I was just making sure I'm good on Facebook. Um, so anyway, what would be an ideal situation for you to move back? I haven't asked you this because we're both kind of I don't know going through it, but and we haven't really thought about it. But what's an ideal situation to phase back into working at the office, even though you've kind of been doing that?
I mean, just trying to do some of the necessary precautions that I guess the state is highlighting. Obviously, still trying to follow the 6 feet apart, still washing your hands, having masks available for employees and things like that. Um, I mean, that's pretty much it. I don't. And it also depends on, I guess, the employee and how comfortable they feel as well. Um, but I mean, I don't know. It may be something that we work out as uh, on a week by week basis. We kind of change it or have some sort of plan. And but yeah, I mean, I would say that maybe rotating employees could be another option. Um, some employees come some days, some employees go the other days. At some point, my brother, he works for Goldman Sachs in New York, and when it first started, they were doing that. So half of the company, they basically split them into two pods, and pod A would go to the office on certain days, and then pod B would go to the office on other days. I think logistically we talked about that, and that might not work for us just because of the computers and things that we have to kind of lug around. I think we're fine with our laptops, but some of our uh, team members have full on desktop computers that they would have to move back and forth. So that might not make sense for us. But yeah, and then the other thing is like the that 25% rule of capacity. Haven't really looked into that and see how that is applied and if it applies to every business or what.
Right. And Yeah, I don't know if it's just restaurants or not. I haven't looked at that either. But I just walked in, and today the Jaeger office building just basically put out some new guidelines that said, um, that they're taking precautions that you can only have so many cups or whatever. And like, if you're going to have before the door was just open
You
during
said
regular
cups?
business hours. Yeah, like they're not doing like the sleeved cups anymore. So
What
I
do you
don't know.
mean by that?
So previously, I guess we never drank the coffee or anything here, but like they had coffee cups for everybody. So
Oh, disposable cups you're talking
yeah,
about.
uh huh.
Yeah.
So they're going to do something where it's like 1 cup per person or 1 cup per company or cups per company or something. So they're just trying to figure it out too. Obviously, they don't have a pretty good grasp on it either. Um, and then they didn't say anything about the 25% rule for this building. It's kind of like an individual company decision, but like the office building itself, it seems to me, other than they're going to provide their employees with masks if they need it to be, as long as they can keep 6 feet away, I guess is what they were saying, is as long as they could keep 6 feet away, then there wasn't a need to wear that mask. But if you're talking to somebody for, you know, longer than 5 to 10 minutes, then sure, here's a mask available for you, that they're going to provide for their employees. And the office manager now is going to come back to work for the most part next week, I guess. So she's been pretty much, I think, just working like 9 to 1 or half a days or something like that. Um, so they're still trying to figure it out too. Is basically what I'm saying, is like everybody seems to kind of be in limbo. I think for the most part, it's like everybody's trying to follow somebody else, but nobody's really said like, I know exactly what to do. This is how we're going to make it happen. And to your point, it's like we're going to have, you know, cleaning utensil or cleaning materials for the office and just distancing people. But other than that, there's not really anything crazy innovative to do, or that's necessarily an option, I guess. Fred Fred says, what's up, Fred? um I don't know if I said as many Z's as he put on there, but um Fred, you spoke a little bit. I don't know if you want to jump on, but you can definitely leave a comment. How is this? You have to, I guess, be around people to take pictures, so I was curious how this is changing your business, or what you're doing, or how you guys are going to go back to work in your studio. So we can continue, but just curious if you want to jump on or leave a comment. Um, but yeah, I was trying to think, because I was kind of tasked with trying to figure this out. And my point is that other than the distancing and other than cleaning materials, and like you said, you for your brother is like kind of switching out pods, there's not really a bunch of other stuff that we could technically do. Um, I don't know. It's just right. It's like a company by company basis. So I don't know. It's just a little bit different than what I was expecting. I thought there was going to be like a solution online that, or like guidelines. CDC gave us guidelines to go out into public, but they don't really tell you, hey, this is how you should start up your business. Um, they do. And what's interesting is they do have guidelines for obviously restaurants, and they do have guidelines for like going to get your haircut, but nothing for like the business world. Um,
I mean, I think you just kind of take some of those same bullet points and adjust them to us. Like I've seen a lot of like grocery stores and like Walgreens and things like that where they're putting up like plexiglass. Like we don't have to do that. Like our industry or like business work, as far as like you being in an office, I don't think it's going to change that much. Maybe the whole open office or open space layouts are probably going to change a little bit nowadays, with all this that's going on. But I mean, besides that, there's really not any other guideline or anything like that you need to follow. It's a pretty straightforward deal. Wash your hands, keep your distance, wear your masks.
right. So maybe it's easier than I'm making it seem to be. Fred said, April says sneeze guards. Oh, that's the plexiglass thing, I guess, is what she's talking about, like for the bankers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Fred says, I've been doing a lot of shoot outdoors. I've been using longer lenses and more powerful lighting to get results. Okay, nice. I'm guessing obviously outdoors is much safer, so you can't go do somebody's headshots. I'm curious, Fred, if you're doing people's headshots from outdoors, like if you're able to still do that. Luckily, we live in Texas and it's summertime, so it's probably not going to rain as much. But interesting. April, what about you? I don't know if you're still watching or if anybody else is still watching, but April's in insurance. I don't know if that's really changed you guys. You guys are probably office building as well or working from home. I feel like a lot of people who are working from home, they don't really have to make a decision as quickly as like department stores. Which is a side note, if you want to go to Eddie Bauer, I was running through Waters Creek the other day, and they have 50% off of everything and 60% off of clearance stuff. So it's like that was Eddie Bauer, and then there was some other store that I've never heard of before, giving crazy discounts too. They're just trying to get people into the store or get rid of old clothes. So if you're looking to go shopping, unrelated to business right now, so you could do it that way. I don't know. April says I'm working from home. Nice. We got 9 people on here. What are you guys doing right now? Obviously, we can't see, so you have to leave a comment. So thank you, Fred and April. What are you guys doing, or how are you transitioning back, or what's going on in your business? What's cool, I think what I saw from Fred anyway, is that he offered a different service, or a completely different service because of it. So that's a good thing. And I was talking to Matt Moreno. He's a chiropractor here in Allen, and they've only been seeing emergency people, and then have slowly started to see people who are like, were putting it off, I guess. And their precautions are, one person comes in, and if you come in as like off the street, you just have to wait in your car and then like basically call them, book an appointment, wait the 15 to 30 minutes or however long it is, and then come in. So they don't really have like a waiting room anymore, which kind of affects his business a little bit. But I don't know. It's just, I think it's going to be really interesting for us.
Not having the waiting room affects his business?
Yeah, because I think that people, like, say, for example, if you're ahead of me, whenever you're going in there, he has to go back out to his car and sit in his car or whatever else, and then text them to get the appointment. And he may not be the only person, waiting at that point. So they can't see as many people because they have to basically sterilize the whole space. Not that they shouldn't have been doing that anyway, but he has to take, I don't know, an extra 15 minutes or so to basically move another person through. So your waiting times are much longer, and you're not depending on your car or your vehicle, I guess. He's just thinking that it's not going to be as comfortable or like a relaxing of a situation. Now, I guess obviously you should just schedule ahead of time. I was thinking about when I'm going to go get a haircut and how they're going to do it, because go over to that Floyd's place, and they have like 5 or 6 different barbers. So how is that going to work? Does each barber get like their own time slot and they just book people there, and then that's the only time that they can do it? I don't know. Vic says, I've been working from home and creating care campaigns to bring awareness to first responders who are the heroes of this time. Interesting. So Vic, what were you doing before? And then what are you doing now? So like, I guess, I don't know enough about your business. I'm curious. April Smith says, allow 30 minutes between for cleaning. Yeah, exactly. So they're just not going to be able to see as many people throughout the day. So it's like, especially if you have multiple chiropractors in one spot, I guess it could be for each space, but I don't know, not as much. Have you been to any restaurants since the 25% has come into place? Just the to-go stuff. I know a couple of them are obviously doing it, and I think that they've made I don't know if you read this or not, but the guidelines for like the patio doesn't take into consideration the patio when you're talking about 25%. So it's 25% plus the patio, because it's outdoors, not indoors.
Have you been to any places?
No. The only places I can think of that go. Well, actually, yeah, I have. I went to Mesa. Mesa's Mexican over in Allen or off of Stacy. And there was, I mean, it was Taco Tuesday and Cinco de Mayo. And it wasn't as busy as what I would think it would have been, but it was decently busy. I would say there's 20 people there, 25 people.
Did you have to like sit 6 feet away from people on your table, or?
Not from your table, no. Your table's your group, and then you have to be 6 feet away from each other table, which doesn't make sense to me because then they'd have to be like, you need to be with your immediate family, sitting with your immediate family and be 6 feet away from them. But if you just go meet up with friends and you're all sitting at a table, like it's, I mean, it doesn't really work that way.
Defeats the purpose of, yeah.
Right. April said, my dad went to his barber this morning. Oh, nice. We had to make an appointment for the first time. Okay, so normally he's just like a walk-in kind of customer. April, where does he go? Curious. Fred says, yes, sir. Headshots, family portraits, seniors, prom formals, all outdoors. Texas weather is unpredictable, but when it's good, it's good. So are you saying that you're doing like, well, obviously seniors, but prom formals? Interesting. I'm guessing that was before, unless some people, they bought their prom dresses and all that stuff. Have you heard about that? Like they just go and take.
I would still have a little virtual party probably. And I would still take pictures too, for sure.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I know that there's a lady in one of my networking groups. Her business is, I can't remember what it is. It's like some kind of cooking company, but her kids were seniors and I think they were twins, and she still got their senior pictures, still took like everything together. So it was like they went to prom. I don't know if they ever met up with their dates or not, but she was like, look, this is just as much for you as it is for me. Like I want these pictures. I want this. So that's good. Dirk just liked the video. Dirk, if you're watching, I'm curious how that's affected. So that's a good thing, or a good thing to wonder or think about. Dirk was a guest for our podcast. We were just talking about the coronavirus early stages, but I wonder how all this is going to happen when it, like say for example, Christian got a speeding ticket or like he wanted to go fight something. It's just kind of like, all right, I get my 1 day in court, or like, do you have to do it virtually? I know the Supreme Court for the first time ever took their hearings over the phone. And I guess one of the justices went to the bathroom while they were on the phone.
Interesting.
Like they heard the toilet flush or whatever. Like I don't know anything else other than like one of the things that they were hearing was like somebody heard a toilet flush in the background when all the justices for like literally the Supreme Court were hearing these rulings. But I'm curious how it's going to affect us because at least for right now, whenever you go down McDermott, I don't know if you've been down there or not, but it's a huge long straightaway for those who are not from this area or haven't been down on McDermott and Allen or Plano. It's a long straightaway and you can fly down it if you want to. But some mornings I see people going 65, maybe even 70 miles an hour. I mean, flying down there. And the crazy thing is there's cops. They see cops and they slam on the brakes and they end up going to like 50, 55. But the speed limit's 45, which, Texas gives you that 10 mile an hour limit. But I just haven't seen people pulled over. Like there's a lot less cars, but you just don't see people being pulled over because I guess they just don't know what to, do with them or just don't want it to get backed up.
Yeah, I think I remember reading about that when it first started, about cops being more lenient about certain things.
Well, then they put something out. The Community Impact newspaper put out something that said that they were going to start cracking down, which I don't know if they have or not. Cynthia Thompson said, I suggested to a friend who has a senior to go take prom pics. Yeah, smart. Hey, you should tell him to hit up Fred for those pictures. Might as well. I mean, it's a good opportunity. I guess before people never really took prom pictures with their parents. That'd be kind of cool to take some funny prom pictures with your parents. I mean, I'm sure you took pictures with your parents, but not like, I don't know. There's just different ways you could actually take those pictures and be kind of fun with it. It's like, I didn't have my date, but here's my parents. I went alone to my house. Fred said, and yes, for many of the students and parents, that helps them emotionally, mentally to be able to celebrate this high school tradition. Nice. Yeah, I would like Christian said, I would definitely take the pictures. At least if you did like a night in Paris or something, you could get a green screen or something and just pretend you're still kind of there. OMG. There's no 10-mile grace cushion rule. That's personally bestowed mercy from the law enforcement. There's no 10-mile grace cushion rule. That's personally bestowed mercy from the law enforcement. Oh, well, they're very merciful. So Fred's basically saying there is no little, like, you can go 10 miles an hour. It's just the cops being nice or being lazy, I guess. I don't know. But like, if I had to pull over everybody going 10 miles an hour over, I would pull over 100 cars a day, which I can understand. Cynthia says, in my business, I have always called people, texted, and used social media. So the only thing that's different is now not meeting my customers in person. And so, Cynthia, I guess whenever you deliver products, you're just dropping on their doorstep and delivering that way, and the business hasn't really changed. Which I guess is interesting, and also is kind of cool, is that we've seen a lot of businesses that are still doing well, or that were already doing stuff digitally, and it kind of forced them. I don't know if Steve Reed is on here, but I know that he was planning on moving his business online, and he was going to do it like June or July, and this kind of forced him to do it. So that's interesting, or like nice to be able to do it now. Okay, Vic finally responded here. He said, I've been learning how to transition into social media to help build my business now rather than transitioning from more formal methods. And I'm guessing you mean like networking and like referral based stuff.
Yeah, and I think for us it has been some of the same stuff too. It just kind of has pushed us to really pay attention to how can we transition a lot of that business that we get from referrals and networking into more of the actual work that we do for our clients, right? So getting leads through social media, our website, our email newsletter, different avenues like that.
Yeah, and it's been I was gonna say I don't know. I think the only thing that I'm missing, because we've been doing it digitally, is because we just don't have the people. So I'm curious for you guys too, is like you're finding ways to make it work for your business, but it's just difficult to not see the people you want to see. Or is it more so I've been wondering about this too. Is it like, if we weren't told to not do this, would it bother us as much? Like if they just told us, hey, you can continue to work, you can continue to see people, just, practice these guidelines, would it have bothered us as much as telling us, I feel like it's like a kid's mentality. Like, you can't do that. So now what we want to do more than ever is go do it. Because technically, like what you're saying, Christian, is, we've had to try new things and we're doing new things, but really our business, for us anyway, and it sounds like with Cynthia and what April's saying, is like they're just working from home, so it's a different situation, but it's not really changing their business too much. Maybe just a little bit of a tweak or a change, but all right. So let's see. Cynthia says, I do drop products off to customers, but meeting them in person and being able to talk to them one-on-one is the best way to show you truly care. I agree, Cynthia, especially if you're dropping off products. That's very nice, good customer service. Are you doing like maybe like a FaceTime with them, or you're like doing it from a distance if you're dropping it off, and then just kind of like yelling at them from your car or something, or maybe 6 feet away? I'm curious. And then Vic said, and there's some crazy things happening in Dallas County. For example, I know a lady that ended up getting a $1,200 ticket for not wearing a mask in public, and she was just walking into a gas station to prepay for her gas. So 1 minute and fraction ended up costing her $1,200. I didn't know that was
insane.
Did you know that was mandated to wear a mask in Dallas?
No.
I mean, I didn't go down to Dallas much anyway, but I didn't know that you were mandated to wear the mask. especially because the Jaeger office building, like at the very bottom, they said like, we suggest that you wear masks if you're going to be talking to people for X amount of time, like I said. But what's down at the very bottom is like, it's your civil liberty to decide whether or not you're going to wear a mask or what you would like to do. There is no way you can like make it a law or that they can force us to not do it. So now I'm curious if Dallas County just, obviously they can enforce something. I don't know. That's more of a legal standpoint. But that's interesting. April says, my newest business edition is all on Zoom, so I have to get used to it. Which in April, you talked about that. I think I was in a meeting or something like that. You talked about your newest edition. I'm curious, what is that? Because that's nice. If everything's over Zoom, then you can handle it that way. But I think for us, what is it? Phase 2 goes into effect May 18th or something, or it doesn't go into effect. They're going to announce it on May 18th. Is that right? I think it's May 18th. For those who are questioning or wondering, I'm going to Google it, I think. But that's when restaurants can go 50%. I think that's also where I think there's like something else that was more major that we like, you can be in crowds up to 50 people or something like that. You can do a lot more things. I think that's when, like, personally, I think that's when a lot of businesses are going to make decisions. It seems, like I said, from outside of here at Jaeger, people have already started making decisions, but at least by the 18th, so 10 days from now, depending on how everything goes, we should have more of a sense of normalcy. Doug says, no, we'll go back to, Fred says first, actually. Venmo, Uber, Instagram, Pinterest, Slack, Square, and many other successful companies' brands were launched during the recession, 2008, 2010. Dang, it's a good point, Fred. I wonder what's going to be. I wonder who's got laid off from their corporate job right now and are in their basement with their ideas and coming up with an idea to create a business.
There was like a 30-some million to have filed for unemployment.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, and they said of those, I think 60, 70% of them or whatever, it was a large percentage they feel like they would be able to go back to work. So that's good. But there is, like you said, a good chunk. Doug Chris.
Good 5 ideas in there for new businesses.
Yeah. Doug Chris says, we're concerned about the health of our clinicians and clients. That's true. I mean, definitely. That to spend an hour with each other in a secure environment in a relatively close proximity. We haven't been able to deliver pretty well. Oh no, my comment went away. Can you see the comment?
Yeah, he said we have been able to deliver pretty well via telehealth, but nothing replaces an office experience. We're considering a variety of options, including new build outs for our offices, PPE, and health screenings. We're also going to continue to offer telehealth as an option for the foreseeable future. I think that's something that it's good from all this is the fact that literally everyone now knows how to use Zoom or telehealth or some other kind of software like that. So it has forced almost literally everyone to learn how to do this and how to use this. Not just Zoom, but like Doug was saying, telehealth and all these things. I think it's going to make working that way a lot easier because a lot of people have actually experienced it. It's something that they probably have installed in the computers now, and they don't have to go through any extra hoops to be able to do that.
Yeah, and to Doug's comment, he's in the industry that's probably going to be the most needed, which is sad. Luckily there's good people like Doug and Meredith that are out there to help people, but the sad thing is a lot of people are in isolation and they really need help with anxiousness and depression and things like that, and that's what people like Doug can help them with, or Meredith rather. Doug probably too, because he's a nice guy, but Meredith more so. But yeah, they want that and they need it now. Like, I mean, I was just thinking the other day because our daughter was sick. It was very nice to be able to just call the doctor or get there's telemedicine like 24/7. You just never know when something's going to happen. And so it's like waiting till 8 a.m. to talk to somebody. I know Doug and you and Meredith are not doing things 24/7, but like waiting another 6 hours to talk to somebody to like get in versus being able to get in a couple hours via telemed, maybe, sometimes it could be life or death. I don't want to say that it would be life or death, but it could be life or death. There was what up, Matthew Puckett? Hey, this is one of our top online fans, and he was super late to the party. So luckily we stayed around for you, Matthew, but good to see you. Jonathan says there was 20 million in April. I'm guessing he's talking about the unemployment, or he made $20 million in April. One of the two.
Very impressive.
Yeah. Please take us out. Fred says, I believe that this is quarantine could be one of the best things for the next great innovations. Fred, that's a good point. I was actually somewhat listening to, dang it, what's his name? That he's a really famous podcaster. He like interviews everybody. It's like, even if you don't listen to podcasts, you know who's Joe Rogan. He was interviewing Elon Musk, and no offense to doctors or lawyers or anybody like that, because he was kind of calling them out, but he said it's he said he's tired, or he thinks it's a waste of all the smart people going two routes, either going into law or being a doctor. They need to go create things. We need more people to think of things to create outside of the box. Because Elon was saying like, yeah, I could have went and been a doctor. I could have been a lawyer or something like that. It's not that those are bad. So I want to completely say that those are not bad. Those are great. We need those people. But he said like, a lot more people would be happy if they went out and used their creative genius or their intelligence to build stuff. Like, how could we be building something? So I don't know. I think that's
right. I think everything he knows about rockets, he just read and studied himself. It wasn't anything that he necessarily learned in school or went for. He said he's
Doug. Yeah, you want to talk to Meredith? I'm just trying to keep the lights on. That's good. He said he's now a Buffett fan. Who's a Buffett fan? Oh, not a Buffett fan. Got it. Okay. I was going to say like that's. I was assuming you're talking to Warren Buffett, but there's a lot of people who are kind of upset with him right now, so that's why I was a little confused by your comment there, Jonathan. Dang, my comments keep going away whenever I'm like it's like they're coming through and then sometimes they'll go away. So if we miss anybody's comment, please help me, Christian.
I think he's talking about Jimmy Buffett.
Oh, because Margarita. Oh, Jimmy Buffett. Yeah, that investor. Yeah, Jimmy Buffett. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Margaritaville guy.
Mm-hmm. He has a few locations, right? A few restaurants or something.
Yeah, and I think there's one in like Florida. There's one in Mexico, wherever.
Yeah, Fred said Jimmy or Warren.
we need to know, Jonathan, which one is it? If you guys are just jumping on live, curious what's going on in your business, how are you transitioning? We were talking a little bit about how we're transitioning our company back to the office, but more so just kind of like what's going on in the world with business. And then Matthew, we haven't heard anything from you. It's kind of calling you out because typically you leave some comments. You just said good afternoon, and you're supposed to be one of our top fans. Hopefully he's upset now. Sometimes
I don't think they've done anything different, because I know he was still actually. By the way, Matthew works at electrical company, but they're still going out to works and stuff, to jobs and water parks.
So construction, that's I guess good question for Matthew is, has construction slowed down a little bit? This morning when I was on a run, there was a line of cars building an apartment complex over here. I mean, it was probably 25, 30 cars at 6-ish in the morning. So, and I've seen people still building, so that's good. But I was just curious if like, we're in a kind of an anomaly place up here in Collin County. I don't know if it's slowed down a lot, or like since the city can't necessarily meet as much, you can't get as many permits. So since you can't get as many permits, construction has to slow down. I don't know.
So Matthew said in the electrical industry, the reaction of our customers have been somewhat surprising. We thought our service work would decline with people not wanting to, for them to be in their homes. But more people are actually scheduling work because they're home and they're probably renovating and doing different projects. But then again, new residential construction has slowed down because newer homes are not selling as fast as normal. Also surprising. So yeah, I mean, that probably stopped a little bit. Although, yeah, it has. But I do feel like construction was something that never stopped.
Like if it was already started, they just continued on doing it.
Right.
One interesting thing, there's a lady who was telling me today, she's a real estate agent, is that the housing market's been great for her because I guess people who are actually listing their house and like they either want to buy or sell, they're serious. So before, I guess she said there's a bunch of, I can't remember what it is, the term, but basically just kind of feeling the water. Nobody's out there just feeling the water. It's like if you're selling your house, you want to sell it. And if you want to buy a house, you're trying to buy it. This isn't a time to just kind of mess around and just be like, yeah, what's going on? It's like, no, we need to buy a house because my family needs this, or we need to sell because we need to move. So the real estate market, I think, and if anybody's in real estate, please feel free to comment because I don't want to misspeak here, but they said that it's still doing really well. You may see less homes on the market, but there's still just as many, like a percentage of sales are still happening. Like there's still just as many sales. People are still buying, people are still selling. So it's still happening. And it's actually probably happening at a better rate because the people who are looking to buy or sell are doing it. Which, as a side note, Christian, it could be a really good time for us to get into some real estate investing.
Word. April said, construction is an essential business.
This is true.
And
you
Matthew
know what?
just yeah.
They're not wearing their masks though. I'll tell you that. At least the 30 people that I saw this morning. What did Matthew say?
The water parks we do work for are still having us go out and do quite a bit of work, but they're also being cautious because they don't know when they're going to open. So they're losing revenue already. And they also can't do a 25% capacity because their operating cost will still be too high.
Interesting. True. So you're saying we could go to the water park this summer?
No, he says he doesn't know.
No, I'm saying like I meant to say that as like you're saying there's a chance kind of thing. What were you going to say?
No, I mean, I've read about that too. Like some restaurants who that 25% rule, like it just makes it worse because yeah, they could potentially open, but then at the same time that wouldn't cover, the operating costs for even that day. So
right,
it might not even make sense for them.
Jonathan says my neighbor's a realtor and he's said he's so busy it sucks. Not a bad problem. That's good. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, I think a lot of realtors who were doing it full time, who are not full time, but like kind of in the market a little bit, but just didn't have established businesses, they're probably stopped selling as much. And then the realtors who are established, they're probably getting more business than ever. And this is a good time for them. I know I've seen on Facebook, like the realtors that I know who have been around for like 10 years, they're still going to meet with the title companies and closing deals. And same with the title companies. They're like, hey, look, we're riding the wave. The refinancing is like crazy. We're just wearing gloves. We're meeting in cars, and it's kind of like a drug deal meetup, but we're, making it work. Oh, Vic said, my wife is an escrow officer. Oh, okay. The deal is predominantly in Megatel Homes builder properties, and they've seen no decline in closings. Okay. So, wow. I've heard of the Megatel, but never seen one of their homes. It's always in neighborhoods that are about to be built, and it says the Megatel on there. So I'm assuming it's a pretty big spot. Matthew said, but mostly the construction industry hasn't been affected as much as we all thought it would. And Christian, and I don't know if we can say, Matthew is moving positions to another company. I don't know if we can say too much other than that, but it's not in the same kind of industry, right?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, Matthew, you can stop me if you want, but isn't he moving to more like it's construction, but it's mainly going after like oil and gas stuff? We don't know. Can't say.
It's all speculation, really.
Oh, okay.
I cannot deny or confirm anything at this point.
Got it. More so, what are you eating? Is that an M&M?
Yep. Highly nutritious M&Ms.
A peanut M&M. I really need one of those. I need some sugar rush right now. What are you doing creatively to help your business? I don't know. Christian's the creative guy. What are we doing creatively?
We're doing this live without any topics.
No, this is I'm moving to Oklahoma to sell electrical supplies, Matthew said. But wouldn't you sell electrical supplies to like, I mean, I would feel like the oil and gas industry would be a big chunk of who you'd sell electrical supplies to, which they've been hit a little bit. I don't know how oil's doing today. Tell us, Matthew. I'm sure you're probably falling a little bit more than I am. I know that it's doing better. Hey, and stocks are up pretty good today, actually. Almost 2%. That's good. Those are mine. Oh, Christian, are you eating Megan's M&Ms?
Negatory.
Oh, okay. We can switch then to a different topic.
No, I do want to go back to April's about what we're doing creatively to help our business. I do think like something that we were about to start doing and we couldn't necessarily finish it, but we had it all scheduled out. It was a new about video. So right before all the coronavirus stuff started, right before we were about to start doing a really cool about video that Jack and I were brainstorming and storyboarding and coming up with a script and everything. And that kind of went downhill because we couldn't go to certain locations and we couldn't necessarily get the team together. But I think beyond that, obviously we're implemented this 30 minutes every day to work on our website. That's something that it's kind of like that 1% rule. So doing small increments and making small changes on our website constantly, we kind of came to the consensus that, you know, every website is a living, breathing thing that needs to be constantly monitored, constantly changing, constantly adding new information, new content. So that's something that we're constantly doing. And then the other thing is productizing our services and finding out new ways and new avenues of generating leads online, right? So not just through social media and Facebook, but also through our website, email newsletters, and things like that. Are all different avenues that we're looking at. And also we have our monthly workshop, the Local Marketing Academy.
Yeah, so you're teaching this month. What are we teaching on?
You have to ask me.
I thought it was emails. I thought it was growing your email list or something like that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because I've changed it twice. But yeah, it is growing your email list.
Well, because the first one didn't really make sense because we were kind of going through a pandemic. But most importantly right now, Megan said that you are eating her snack that was a teacher appreciation gift. Wow.
That doesn't seem right.
Oh, wow. That's kind of low blow. It's teacher appreciation week.
It doesn't say anything. No, it just says peanut M&Ms. It doesn't say anything about.
They must have really been appreciating her. That's a big bag. I was thinking it was like one of those small ones. So it's definitely shareable size. Like, you know, one person shouldn't eat all that.
Yeah.
Matthew said we'll focus on selling to commercial electrical contractors. But more importantly, I think to that, Matthew, Jonathan said oil is at $24.74. So that's good. I mean, that's not good. We really want it to be higher than $50, but 2 weeks ago, that's not good. Oil and gas industry is bad right now. Hey, Matthew, as a side note, if you want to get some business, do you sell outside of Oklahoma? Because if you do, I may know somebody who
knows somebody who knows somebody.
Knows somebody who knows somebody. No, my uncle owns a few wells in Kansas
Water
and
wells?
Oklahoma. Yeah, water wells.
Uh-huh.
And natural gas wells. No. But no, I think that may be a good connection for you. I never thought about that before. All right, so I see the number keep changing back and forth. So if you're jumping on live, just let us know you're here, what you're doing for your business. April, you've been a top commenter. Thank you for that. Matthew, you're getting up there, but we expect that from you. Jonathan, pretty good. We do. Okay, multiple states, Kansas included. Okay, Matthew, hit me up offline, probably in the next couple weeks, and I want to connect you with my uncle. I think that'd be a good connection for you.
Slide into the DMs.
Yeah, the BitBranding DMs. We'll get it filtered out to me correctly. But no, I think that's interesting. It would be cool to look back at this video, depending on how the world goes. Like if it's just like in 3 months, let's just say a year from now, we're like, oh, do you remember the coronavirus? And it just becomes a meme. Or if it's like
it's been a meme.
I know it becomes a different type of meme. Like, hey, do you remember when we did all these TikTok dances because we were quarantining ourselves? And there's that kind of meme versus like, hey, look, my grandma still wears a mask, which is not a good thing to be talking about or a good, route. But let's just hope that there's a positive side to this video and the transition, like whenever people are going back to work into business. I'm just, I guess, more upset that I don't have any M&Ms or anything. I don't even have a fig bar. I already ate it, so I'm like really hungry right now.
I bought myself some M&Ms, and I also went to the store and got me some Skittles. And then I also got this purple bottle, and I bought it with Megan's name because I was going to give it to her, but I decided to keep it too.
Is it
a bunch of goodies? Yeah, brand new. All this stuff I just got today.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Very cool. Ooh. So the question was, what social norms are going to change, like handshakes? I think handshakes will change for a little bit. The problem is the same thing that was happening in like Europe. They kiss. I think the same thing in like Puerto Rico, like for you guys, Christian, like it's in France and everything else. Like it's more of a, you're really close to somebody. Like that's how you greet somebody. The problem is you're looking at like hundreds and hundreds of years of like tradition and habits. So it's going to be really hard to do that. So I think that we're going to do our best, and I give it 6 months before we're back to somewhat of like, you got this 1 out of 3 guys who are like, I don't want to handshake with you, or I'm not going to do this. But then I think
that's going to be really awkward. Like you have to, before you shake someone's hand, you have to ask them, is it okay to shake your hand? Yes. And then you go and proceed to shaking the hand. You know?
Yeah. It's like, hi, how would you like to be greeted? Right. Are we doing like peace sign now? Is it acceptable to bump elbows? Like in the business world, it's like, hey, we just closed a $10 million deal. Oh yeah. And now let's kick shoes. Mm-hmm. That's how we're going to get it done.
Jonathan Bruto is still shaking hands. That's good. I don't think I'll change too much. I do think that I will have more hand sanitizer available, like in my car, my backpack, at the office, and just like after shaking 2 hands, probably wash my hands and do some hand sanitizing action.
And I think the interesting thing will be like, hopefully more people are washing their hands prior to that, or are more clean anyway, so that when they do shake hands and you do wash it afterwards, it's not spreading as many germs. There's just the statistic was crazy to me that like 1 out of 3 people don't consistently wash their hands after going to the restroom in public places. So that, I hope that number changes. Maybe it goes to a half of a person, mm-hmm. and then it should be better. But yeah, just in general, we were kind of gross. I don't know if there's like one country that's like we're always super clean. I always feel like Japan would be one of those because they're just, I don't know, living longer. So Jonathan says, I come from the world of eat more dirt. Fred says, lightning round. What 2 things should business owners do right now? Who has more impromptu juice? All right.
Wash your hands and watch this live stream.
Oh,
it doesn't get any better than that.
There we go. What 2 things should business owners do right now? They need to be doing more video and treating their business like what the Hilton should have been doing in 2010, which is try to put yourself out of business. Hilton should have came up with Airbnb before Airbnb did. It had the resources, the power, the money, everything. They just continued as the status quo. So the two things you should be doing in your business is being being visible to them, and letting people know who you are, and then figuring out ways to put yourself out of business. What would happen if we get back to business as usual and something else happens? So like not a pandemic, but something else happened to your business. How can you survive? Like for us, like how could we survive if the internet went out? I don't know. Like that's just something like how could we as a digital agency put ourselves out of business, and let's go figure out a way to do that and make that happen.
Yeah, we need to figure that out.
Yeah. We're going to sell physical products.
Speaking of Hilton, they recently rebranded their logo.
Did they?
I don't know. Yeah, Jack, I don't know if you can pull it up.
Jack,
show us a visual. But yeah.
Jonathan says, I like Jonathan's comment. It's probably the best. Jonathan, you win. Pinned comment. I come from the world of eating more dirt. So that's awesome, Jonathan. If you could take a picture of yourself eating some dirt and drop it in before the live stream, we will send you a prize in the mail.
Stop making promises you can't fulfill, man.
I don't think he's gonna. That's a challenge. I said we're gonna send him something. I could send him this pin that you cannot see. Look at that.
You made promises on the podcast before. You still
what was the promise?
I don't know. You still owe people T-shirts and mugs and I don't know what else.
I don't owe anybody a T-shirt. Nobody did that.
Yeah, you do.
Well,
I think Helen. There was something that you owe them.
Oh, yeah. Well, if Helen's watching this, we traded out. No, we traded out because we did business with her. So she said, "Don't worry about the shirt afterwards." Well, I take that back. We went to a ribbon cutting. She brought it up again. So I don't think that we made a deal. So I think she does still want a shirt. Matthew said you owe me a hat. I thought you gave Matthew a hat. That's bull.
No. Well, thanks. So Matthew doesn't know, but I give the hat to Wayland, the last hat.
Yeah, you came in here that day. So you gave Wayland the hat instead of Matthew? I'm sure he's really happy about that.
Yeah. He's finding out just now, so that's going to be interesting what he says next.
Nice. So are we going to get a text message while you have to leave here for a second?
It's like, I need to take this phone call.
So Fred, did we answer your lightning round well enough? Do we need to go more in depth? Was it good? That was a good question. I like it. Fred says, #eat more dirt. Like the one on your head. This is very nice. Yeah, I would think that Christian, we each got an allotted amount to give to people, or like not allotted, but like we had like 2 hats or 3 hats we could have given away per person.
That was the only hat that I gave away. You gave away like what, 4?
I gave one to a mutual friend, and then I gave one to my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And then we give one to Jack's dad,
Justin.
That's why I said a mutual friend. That's kind of like a half between both of us.
It says up the price patrol with some M&Ms.
Ooh, nice. So now you have to give the M&Ms. So, Jonathan, are you still on, or are you going to get that dirt? Because we need to know. Christian's going to send his M&Ms to you.
I have to go buy some more M&Ms.
Yeah, before you run out too much. Awesome. All right. I feel like okay. I don't remember exactly how much time we allotted on our calendars for this. We got a few more minutes. Is there anything specific questions that we can help you guys with, or that you just want to talk about, or how you transition your business? I think that's I don't know, help us by telling us what you're doing with your business, because it could be useful for, I don't know, transitioning back. But so the question is, are we going to wear masks when we leave our house now when it's not recommended? It just depends on where I'm going. If I'm out, yeah, not required, but recommended. If I'm going to go out for a run or something, no way. It's just impossible to breathe, and that defeats the whole purpose.
You can do that slit, just cut it open.
That defeats the whole purpose. It's like, hey, hello, I have a mask on, and then It's like there's this funny video about this guy who he's like, yeah, I'm wearing this mask, and then I can get closer to you because I do that, and so I have this false sense of protection. So I got closer to you because I have a mask, and then they're like, what are you saying? So he's like, oh, okay, hold on one second. He takes the mask off and then just starts talking to him normally. He's like, that defeats the whole purpose. Just stay 6 feet away from me if you're gonna do that. Otherwise, it's not gonna work. So I don't know. I think that's the question. It varies. If I'm going to be around a vulnerable population, or even one that I think would be, then yeah. But if I'm going to be outside and I'm going to be running, yeah, absolutely not. Yeah, there's just no way. One, it's I don't know. I think you draw the line between like being able to live your life and
Well, you could do like the masks that limit the oxygen intake, so you're actually training harder. You know, it might be beneficial.
Yeah, they do have the masks, like the Bane masks that you can use that to train with. Jonathan says, I have no dirt in my office. So Christian, you're good on those M&Ms. Don't worry about anything with that. You don't have to share or anything. Fred says, yes, excellent lightning round response. Christian was first off the line with a turbocharged 4-cylinder. Nice. I feel like that's like a Honda Civic, like what is their, I can't remember what their supercharged version is, but it's a nice, dang it, I should know this. I drive a Honda Civic. But Aaron came roaring through with a checkered flag like a V8. Nice. Awesome.
I do want to say this just since we're here live now, and there's a couple of people watching. If a live video of Aaron and I talking or brainstorming about a certain problem, would that be beneficial for you guys? Let's say we're trying to, and this will be not necessarily things for our clients, but things that we want to work on for our company. Let's say we're, I don't know, trying to figure out what's the best way to showcase this video on our website, and we're just doing a brainstorm session, and we decided to do this brainstorm session live. Would that be something beneficial for you guys to kind of be that fly on the wall, just listening in and also giving us some feedback right here live on Facebook? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, that's interesting because we thought about doing that before, calling it that fly on the wall. It'd be kind of cool to, we'd have to have Jack's help, but we could use the whiteboard and kind of literally just go back and forth and draw it out. Obviously, I'd be the one drawing, and then they would be able to see visually. What's that face for?
I don't know about you drawing.
Oh, hey, I'm not getting better, but I'm trying to get better. So it's kind of like I'm getting ready to start running, or I'm getting ready to start getting better. But the iPad has made me like practice drawing more, which is kind of nice, and I like to see things more visual now, so that's good. But I'm not there yet.
Boom. Okay, we got 2 yeses. Jonathan said like a live vlog. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, it's just more so like we're being more behind the scenes real with our business. Like we already have these conversations anyways, like on Saturdays, like, okay, how can we launch this ad, or what changes can we make to our website to make it perform better? And we're like, okay, what about this? Chris can draw up the homepage of the website and say, well, a bunch of people click this button, but they never go to the second page. So what are our options? Oh, we could do this, or we could do that. Or like we could pull up an ad and say, this ad's working, but they're not converting. What could we do there? We change the creative, or, our transition to moving to a productized system. So hopefully that answers your question a little bit, Jonathan, but I think that you're on the right track with what we're talking about. We'll wait because I think there's a little bit of a delay to see if people are still saying yes or if they're interested. But we did get 2 yeses, so that's at least worth a shot at doing it. Stop eating those M&Ms.
I'm not.
You're out.
What?
Did you say you're out?
No, I'm not.
Oh, that you're not eating them.
Just my mouth kind of feels weird. I have to move it in certain directions. 3 yeses.
Okay.
All right.
That's good. That's good enough for me.
Yep. So our next live will probably be a fly on the wall brainstorming session.
Yeah, we'll let you guys know. We'll probably do a little bit more of letting you know ahead of time, but appreciate everybody commenting. We do have to get back to business, but if you're watching afterwards or if you're jumping in just right now, please leave a comment. Let us know that you're here, and have a good weekend. It's still the weekend, and you get 25% capacity. Even if you don't go to a restaurant, you should go support a local business, grab some food locally. And get outside. It's super nice. It's literally 70 degrees. It's kind of windy, at least here in North Texas.
Mm-hmm.
But
Kind of chilly this morning.
Yeah, it was. It was chilly this morning. What was the comment?
Megan said this live news to end so I can speak to Christian about my candy. Do you think we can keep it going for another hour?
Yeah, no problem. Do you want to work live? No problem. Yeah. Thank you, Cynthia. Have a good weekend. Yes, and if you guys aren't subscribed, as Jack just mentioned to us on our YouTube channel, we just hit 1,000 subscribers a couple weeks ago. So thank you, those who are subscribed and are watching on there. We appreciate that. It's been a journey. It's been a goal. Maybe we should do we should do a video when we all get back to the office. Like, we hit 1,000 subscribers party.
We should.
Don't forget your, what did April say? Don't forget your mom's. Oh, your mama's.
Your
mamas. Yeah. Yes, that's true. Oh, crap. I need to order some flowers for my mom. We were going to send something in the mail, but I didn't know when she was going to be home. Okay. Thank you, April. I did not forget, obviously. Mm-mm. All right. Thank you guys so much for jumping in. Thanks for the comments. This next live video that we do will probably be kind of a behind the scenes. We'll be able to work on our business and answer questions for you guys too. So really appreciate you guys and hope your business is doing well. Hope that you're enjoying this time, but also ready to transition back and do it safely. And hope that you have a great rest of your weekend. And yes, don't forget to celebrate all the moms out there.
Word.